I've made over 40 boxes this year, and this is what I've learned so far.
Hello Yatten, busy over there in the Nestboxes, mate. One of the finished jobs and a stack of timber that we're making the boxes off. Here he goes. And this is what they look like when they're finished. We go outside and here we are with some of the finished ones.
I'm going to be talking about Eastern Rosella box because that's what I've got here, but this will be helpful to make other boxes as well. These are the things I'm going to be covering in this video. This is Eastern Rosella box made from structural ply, 15 millimeters. The entrance hole is 65 millimeters, which is really important for the birds. You don't want to go from 65 to 75 millimeters if you're going for Eastern Rosellas. The only difference between a Crimson Rosella box and a Eastern Rosella box is this entry hole, and everything else is literally exact the same. So Crimson Rosella is a little bit bigger, so they'll use a 75 millimeters hole, while in Eastern Rosella a 65 millimeter hole, so literally just 10 millimeters. And yeah, it's a cool box. Another thing I want to show you was that cleats. You can either have these cleats, which is a little bit of a ladder for the Rosellas to go in, and the same things on the inside as well, so they can go in, come out, no problem. Because the inside of the plywood is really slippery, so they can't really get out if you don't make that ladder. Another thing is you can also have grooves, which is they can just grab onto it. So they'll land on the box, they'll grab onto one of these grooves, and then they just go inside. The bottom of the box has 4 holes, all on 4 sides, just so if it leans on this way or that way, the water can just seep out, because you don't want to have too much water in, because that can drown the babies. The water can come in, because there's no guarantee the water won't come in, because if the rain's coming that way, the water will just keep coming in. What we want is the water to come in and get out as soon as possible. So another feature of this one is the lid. We want to have the lid that is easy to open and close, and I'm going to show you what the inside of the box looks like. It's just a plywood with the cleats inside. And I got this fencing wire which just connects to this screw, which is pretty long, so that covers half of the box here, and then half comes out, and then you can just take the wire and tie it. That way it won't come out, because the kookaburras might want to come in and eat the eggs and stuff, and we don't want that. I wanted to show you how you can stop that box from flapping away, or when the other birds come to open it and steal the other chicks, how you can do that. So we're gonna grab the wire, which is just a fence wire. I just drilled a couple of holes here, and what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna drill another hole somewhere here, and then put the screw in. I'm gonna feed my wire through. I'll bend the wire, so I'll go up now, I'll bend more, and another bend, put that in. I'm just gonna do 1 or 2 loops. One's more than enough because the wire's pretty thick. Enough. Here I'm gonna cut it and then leave a little bit of a room so you can grab it and take it off when you have to do cleaning. And I'm also going to show you the back of it. Instead of a normal butt hinge, which is sort of goes like one here and one there, we use piano hinge, which you can't even see. It's because I've painted it all over it. So my paint's going to be the first defense. The piano hinge is going to be the second one, because I don't want any water going in. Obviously there's going to be a little bit of water going in, so the paint is going to be taking care of that. I'm about to put a lid on this box, and this is a piano hinge that I'm gonna put, and I wanted to show you a regular hinge and a piano hinge. Sorry, this comes in a big roll, so it's all connected like 20 meters, or you can choose what you want, but it comes in big lengths. This one is expensive, plus when you put them, you put one on left side and one on right side of the box. So like one would be on this side and the other one would be on this side, which means you've got a little bit of the room that's left from the top for the rain and stuff. So for that reason, this one is cheap, and this one does protect from the rain as well, because when you paint it on the sides and stuff, this is the first thing that's gonna hit. So yeah, that's why we use piano hinge over the regular hinge. This is much easier. This is a little bit harder because you've got to cut it, and not a lot of people feel comfortable cutting the piano hinge, because you can see even I did a pretty bad job of cutting it. It's not sharp anymore because I did smooth it. So it's a little bit more work, less expensive, no work at all. Screw it in, and I think roughly $2-3, and this one's like roughly $1 for this, so very cheap. And I've got one hole here that's going to be attached to the tree. Another one is I've got 2 holes, one on each side. This is so if you want to attach the nest box from a tree with the wire, so it's called heavy short. That's another way to tie that to a tree. It's like a plastic wire which wraps around and tightens, and just box stays there. There's so many websites where you can find the Nestbox designs. Personally, I use Nestbox Tails. That's where the Eastern Rosella box is from. So they will list all the dimensions for you, and you have to figure out the way to make the box, which I'm going to cover later in the video. This box is made out of structural ply. The recommended one is a marine ply, but this one's just way cheaper. You just gotta put a couple of coats on it, 3 coats on this one, just so it doesn't deteriorate as quickly. And if you have just one on your property, you can take really good care of it. You can also use hardwood as well. You just gotta make sure that it's all untreated. Like if you use any wood, just gotta make sure that it's untreated. Another thing, it's like 15mm ply, so it's good enough insulation for the birds, so they don't really get cold in the night and not too hot in the mornings. The spring can be sometimes really hot. The reason why we use plywood is just because it's so easy to make. Like if you're using 2 timbers here, then you gotta join those 2 timbers, you gotta cut it to right length, then you gotta do it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times. So that's why we just use plywood, because it's just so easy to work with. The plywood that we use for this one is 2400mm times 1200mm, which is this plywood. Now when I first started, it was all so confusing, and I was like, I really don't know how to make the cut, which leads to what I'm doing now, which is you can get the details and the plans from the Nestbox Tails, but the next step is to figure out how to make those plans into a reality, which is cutting the wood or something like that. So what I'm doing is I made a website where I'm gonna list, because I'm gonna be making heaps of boxes. So I'm going to be putting a templates there. So for example, if you get a 2400 times 1200 plywood, you would have no idea how to cut it. Also, you might not have the equipment to cut it. So what I'm going to do is provide the plans there where you can have that cut from the hardware store into 5 or 6 or 4 different strips, and then make like 5 or 6 different boxes. Couple of videos before, I mentioned that this is the plywood you get, which is like 2.4 meters, like a really long one, and then 1.2 meters. I want to make it as easy as possible for you to make it, because when I sold some boxes, I ask every time, did you have any nest box at your property, or did you make one? And every time they say, I want to make one, but it feels so overwhelming. So what I want to do is, you see these long strips, these came from this, right? What I want to do is I want to make a template for you, which is a 2.4 meters time, and then I want to cut that into like 5 or 4 lengths depending what box you're making. And then if you take that to your hardware store, if you buy that from your hardware store, and you can just ask them, right? You can just ask them for you to cut 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different lengths, long strips. That way what you have to do is you can just cut it like that, and then you can make yourself a Rosella box, just like that. So really what I want people to do is find the plans from the Nestbox site, get the template from the site that I'm making, join them together, get the knowledge from one side, come for the template from the other side, go to the hardware shop, show them that template and ask them if they can cut the structural ply for you. And that's all. Hope it helped. What I'm doing now is I'm going to be putting together another video which I'm going to show you from start to finish on what I'm going to be doing and how I'm going to be doing it. And yeah, stay tuned for that.